We wrestle with doubt, even as we take each step forward in faith. Doubt and faith go hand in hand. Our journey began centuries ago. It began with Abram as he listened to the still small voice within, broke away from accepted beliefs that creation is ruled by many gods, and packed his wife and relatives up to wander, to journey with the one God. Abram developed an intimate relationship over his wanderings with God. And today's lesson begins when God comes to Abram in a vision and says, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield. Your reward shall be very great." With these words of assurance, God promises something better to come. God is addressing Abram's greatest doubt, which is that he will not have his own child as an heir. And God takes a look at the night sky and promises Abram descendants as numerous as the stars and land to possess. Today, we only see the vastness of the night sky when we travel into the heart of wilderness, the desert, or the open sea. In the remote regions of Africa, one can see so many stars, too many to be counted. That is closer to what Abraham saw. And Abram's response is belief. And we know Abram was later renamed by God as Abraham. God promises, Abraham believes. God instructs Abram to enact a ritual offering in faith, and a covenant is established as God, in the form of fire, moves between the slain animals offered. The seed of hope is planted in the heart of Abraham and all humankind through this divine promise. And Abram continues to journey with God. When we travel in the Gospel of Luke, we too are on a journey with Jesus. And Jesus is always on the move towards where he is being called, just as Abram always packs up and follows God to some new place. And our relationship, especially in Lent, can be described as a journey of wandering in the wilderness to places unknown, places foreign yet as close as our own heart. And traveling is always an adventure. We never know what may present itself at the next bend in the road. If we think we know, often something happens to surprise us. We are continuously challenged when we travel by new experiences, sights, sounds, and scents. And the same is true in our journey with God. There are many unexpected surprises that can serve to enrich and take us deeper into relationship with the divine, if we are open to an intimate relationship with God. In the gospel reading, Jesus seems to know his itinerary. When warned by the Pharisees, "Get away from here, for Herod wants to kill you," Jesus responds with exactly what he's going to do. When, where, and why. His is a journey of divine necessity. And yes, you got that right. In the Gospel of Luke, the Pharisees are warning Jesus. They are sympathetic to him. And Jesus is going to continue healing, casting out demons for today and tomorrow. And on the next day, he will be on his way to Jerusalem. He is on a mission and is going to complete his ministry, which will culminate in Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. Neither friend nor foe can alter Jesus' obedience to the will of God. He continues, "How often have I desired to gather your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you were not willing. And I tell you, you will not see me until the time comes when you say, 'Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord.'" How often are we not willing? How often does doubt carry us into our own direction and away from God? There is still an opportunity to turn towards God, to be gathered together under Jesus' care. And the journey is not over. we too still have an opportunity to turn around and be surprised by God, to discover faith in the very heart of doubt. And can you recall the last time you were surprised by God? Do you expect God to surprise you? And if not, why not? Lent is a time to intentionally seek to be surprised, to journey deeper, through being present to God daily in scripture, meditation, and prayer. We open ourselves more fully to God. Our belief is strengthened, faith is deepened, hope emerges, and we gain greater understanding of God's promise with all humankind as God's word speaks within our hearts. It's a very personal journey. And sometimes the surprises are big, but most times they come very subtly. And if we are perplexed by how to seek a deeper relationship with God, Paul calls us into imitating those people we believe live holy lives or have lived holy lives. In Paul's day, it was customary to imitate people whose lives demonstrated traits one wanted to develop in their own life. Who inspires you to live a holy life? Who do you know that lives faithfully even as they have doubts? And do you even know if people you see as living faithfully have doubts? I expect they do. If you would like inspiration, Google Lesser Feasts and Fasts and read short biographies of people whose lives inspire the church. Some of the saints who early on inspired me were St. Francis of Assisi, St. Teresa of Lisieux, St. Teresa of Avila, St. Benedict. And more modern holy lives include Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Martin Luther King, and Thich Nhat Hanh. Each one of these people has a life story and writings which serve to enrich our journey, our desert journey during Lent, our wanderings in the wilderness. God works through the most interesting vessels, to quote Paul, to transform the body of our humiliation, that it may be conformed to the body of his glory, by the power that enables him to make all things subject to himself. So expect the unexpected. Allow yourself to be conformed to God's glory. And most importantly, find your way through this holy journey with Christ into the heart of God, carrying your doubt, your hopes, your fears, and your faith, step by step, and expect to be surprised. Amen.